This is Tom Fox. I'd like to welcome you to the newest addition to the Compliance Podcast Network, the Compliance Tip of the Day. This is the podcast where we bring you daily insights and practical advice on navigating the ever-evolving landscape of compliance requirements. Whether you're a seasoned compliance professional or just starting your journey, my aim in this podcast is to provide you with a bite-sized, actionable tip to help you stay on top of your compliance game. Join us as we explore the latest trends from the Department of Justice, share some best practices, demystify complex compliance issues to help keep your organization doing business ethically and in compliance, and at the end of the day, more profitably. Tune in daily for your dose of compliance wisdom. Let's make compliance a little less daunting, one tip at a time. Now a word from the sponsor of the Compliance Podcast Network, Ethico.
In compliance, the value of anonymous reporting is undeniable. But with Ethico, anonymity doesn't mean a loss of connection. Our blinded, two-way communication fosters an environment of trust and confidentiality, encouraging open and honest dialogue. It's not just about receiving reports. It's about understanding the story behind each one, creating a culture of integrity and respect. Transform your approach to anonymous reporting with Ethico. Begin your journey at ethico.com/CPN, where you can book a demo, access an exclusive white paper by Tom Fox titled The ROI of Compliance, and utilize our free ROI calculator.
Succession planning is not something that I think gets enough discussion in compliance, and many of the concepts that we have talked about around corporate governance, enterprise risk management, and strategic oversight are really should be considered around succession planning. As I mentioned, many companies fail to give it the attention it requires, and a PwC survey found that more than one half of 1,000 directors who took a survey reported dissatisfaction into their company's succession planning strategies. Imagine what that would look like if it took into account the compliance aspect of this. Succession planning does not begin at the time a CCO decides to retire. It should be actually started when that CCO is hired. This is to prevent a decision at the last minute or to be effectively made with no decision. As well as the process being started at the time of hiring, it must fully engage the compliance committee at the board or the entire board of directors. The criteria that the evaluation process should be ongoing, not episodic process. In addition, broad and deep pipeline of qualified CCOs need to be put through a variety of roles at your organization if you hope to or want to or intend to replace internally. In the compliance context, this would provide an opportunity to review the initiatives and responses in several different areas. In addition to running large and small business units, candidates should oversee several different functions as well. So what are some of the criteria? Well, it's as much art as it is science, but of course, you need to recognize the risks your organization will face in the future and try to have tied your CCO to this. Every time I perform a risk assessment and speak to a company's HR lead, they immediately understand the role of succession planning and moving a compliance program forward. Even if HR has a limited process in that overall role, they can talk to candidates about their views on business ethics and doing business ethically and in compliance. You begin to see that this is much more of a holistic process that your organization should be engaged in an ongoing basis. So think about succession planning. If you're on a board, please think about succession planning of your CCO as you would your CEO. This month's sponsor of the Compliance Podcast Network, including this podcast, is Ethico. Have you ever wondered about the ROI of your compliance program or had concerns with presenting budget proposals to your CFO? Well, I partnered with Ethico to write a white paper on the ROI of compliance and how you can think through compliance as an investment strategy. Ethico has put together a ROI calculator for you. Check them out on the website. This is Tom Fox again. This new podcast, Compliance Tip of the Day, will appear daily. And frankly, it's one of the most requested topics for a podcast that I get on a regular basis. It's going to be short and sweet with one tip with some takeaways that you can utilize to implement into your compliance program. If you've got a question that you would like a tip on, please submit them through our website, and we will use them in an upcoming episode. The compliance tip of the day is a production of the award-winning Compliance Podcast Network.